What is good, everybody? I'm Max, the part-time pitmaster, and you're watching Part-Timers Barbecue. And on today's episode, we're doing smoked stewed chicken. This is my version. It's not traditional, really, because I've never had a Jamaican person show me how to make stewed chicken, but it's definitely inspired from the brown stewed chicken that the Jamaicans use. There's a lot of that Caribbean flavor in there. I'm gonna be smoking it on my pit barrel, which I got it fired up right now, warming up. So before we throw the chickens on, let me take you to yesterday when I got everything all prepped up and got it in its marinade. So let's check it out. Let's chop up some veg for our stew. So we're gonna first start out with some carrots. Nice, small, you don't want them too big. You want every single bite to get a little veg, a little chicken, a little sauce. So once we got those carrots chopped up, now we're gonna hit up some Scotch bonnets. Everything I'm cutting here, I'm gonna end up cutting twice. One for the veg for the actual stew and the other for the marinade. We're keeping within the same flavor profile throughout the whole cook here. So there, some green onions. Now some red peppers, we're gonna chop them up. You can use red peppers, green peppers, yellow peppers, a mix of everything, it doesn't matter. Throw it all in. Now we're gonna hit up the onion. You don't want them too big either. You don't want huge chunks. Nice small chunks here. They're gonna dissolve and get all delicious and caramelized and all that good stuff. So also, when I realized I forgot garlic, and then I seen some green beans. I figure, why not chop those up and throw them in there too? Green beans I didn't put into the marinade. Green beans were just strictly for the actual stew itself. Time to get this marinade put together. So these are all the veggies I chopped up for the marinade. Basically what you saw I already chopped up. So I'm gonna hit some sprigs of thyme. I'm gonna pull off the leaves for that, off the stems. Then we're gonna hit olive oil in there. You can use vegetable oil, whatever oil you have on hand. I like to use the olive oil because I have it. And no set amounts. We're just kind of eyeballing it, throwing it in there. We know these flavors are going to work together. So we're going to do a splash of lemon juice there for some acidity. Now we're going to also go with the soy sauce. This is going to give it a nice little saltiness, help break down the chickens. After we got the soy sauce in there, we are going to hit it with the Maggie's chili sauce. This stuff is awesome. I use it all the time. Nice little dollop of that in there. And we're gonna give this a good old mix. Mix it all up, and then we're gonna throw it on our chickens. So now we're gonna break up our chickens. And first, before we hit our marinade on them, we're actually gonna season them up. So I'm gonna chop these up a little bit, make them smaller. I did end up cutting them down again after I seasoned them, before I put them in the marinade. But yeah, so I just have some white meat here. Normally you get a full chicken, you'd break that down, you get the mixture of dark and white. So what I'm sprinkling on it right now is some brown sugar, chili spice, and garlic powder. So we're gonna get that all over top of it. And then we are going to hit it with some allspice. This to me is a real Caribbean Jamaican flavor. I put it on anything that I'm doing with a Caribbean inspired touch. So once we got that on there, now we're gonna hit the Lawry's seasoning salt. I love this. It gives a great salty flavor plus a little extra. So I throw that on there too. And we gotta have the black pepper. If you don't throw the black pepper on there, I don't know what's wrong with you. So you gotta put the black pepper on. Once we got these all nice and mixed up, we're gonna let them sit in the fridge for about an hour before we dump our marinade onto it. Pulled the chickens out of the fridge after about an hour, and now we are dumping the marinade in there. We're gonna give it a little mixy mix, get it all, make sure everything's covered and coated, and it's going back in the fridge covered overnight until tomorrow when we fire up the pit and throw it on. So I'll see you then. Good morning, everybody. So, just getting the pit fired up, rocking the pit barrel today for this cook. As you can see, it's always Lumberjack. This premium lump charcoal burns amazing. It's actually got voted the best lump charcoal in the game. So when people say Lumberjack's the best in the game, they're not really playing. It's actually been awarded to them. But anyway, so I got this lump fired up. Well, I got the chimney going. Once give it 10 minutes, chimney will be nice and hot. Then I'm gonna place it on here. As you can see, I like to bury my chunks a little bit throughout. so then they slowly cook as the hot coals hit them. This one was left over, so once I pour, bring you back. Almost forgot, the wood I'm rocking, some cherry chunks, some apple wood. So just to let y'all know. Since there's no gauges on this pit and you're wondering how to tell if it's warmed up, put your hand on it. And if you gotta pull your hand away, right away, it's around 275. Like you can hold it for a minute. That's how I judge. So anyway, as you can see, we're good. Stew chicken's been marinating all night. Let's get it on. Take some of those juices and drip them down on the old hot coals. Add a little extra flavor from those peppers and stuff. So as you see, we're probably just over a half hour in, getting some smoke and flavor on those chickens. They're starting to look perfect. I like to dump a little bit of that marinade, like I said before, on the coals for some aromatics. But also I got the cast iron on there. My plan now is to let it go for another half hour and get that cast iron preheated basically. So it's gonna start getting hot before I put all my veg that you see me chop up into the cast iron. You don't wanna put it in when it's cold, so I wanna put it in while the cast iron comes up to temperature. We got just enough room, move the chickens over, so we'll come back in about another 30 minutes. Okay, so now we got the veggies cooking down a bit. I'm gonna move this piece of rebar out of the way. Notice how I moved the cast iron over here now, directly over the heat. Everything's kind of cooking down a little bit. It's getting nice. Our chicken's nice in color. We're gonna throw our chickens in here now, the cast iron. So that is our next step. I got a nice color. Now remember, these chickens, these are white meat, so we definitely are overcooking them because we're stewing them. But the amount of flavor that's going to be in here and the juices from the sauce, it's just going to get super tender and fall aparty, so it's not really going to be an issue. Normally, I'm only cooking this for myself. Normally, you'd cook like a whole chicken, so you'd have the mixture of the dark meat and the white meat, but I just got a couple white meat breasts, so this is perfect. So now we're going to let this cook for a minute before we add all the other ingredients. So let's close the lid back up. Get this rebar in. And then we'll throw all the liquids in. Okay, we are looking good. You can see the juices pooling up. That's the moisture coming out of the... Ooh, hit with some of that spicy smoke. That's the moisture coming out of the veggies as they're cooking down, and a little bit of whatever's cooking out of the chicken. Now I got bone-in chicken, so that's going to help build the stock. So we're going to add a little bit of black pepper. We're going to add some salt. We're going to add some chicken stock. Remember, this is a stew, so everything's going to start cooking down. You're also going to get the bones that are in there and the cartilage that's in the chicken. It's going to cook down as well. So, yeah, it's going to be just maximum flavor. That's the thing about like the Caribbean style of cooking and barbecue. It's all about building flavor. So now I'm pouring some water just to add a little bit more something to there, you know? Give it some volume. Now, Sister Maggie chili sauce. Throw a little bit of that in there. A little soy sauce. Not much, just a dash of that. And then what's gonna thicken things up, some ketchup. Throw that in there. And we're gonna mix everything around. We're gonna leave it open for probably 10-15 minutes just to have that smoke kind of cook down and get in with the liquid. And then I'm gonna put some tin foil on it, and we're just gonna let it stew down. And the liquid's gonna cook out, the sauce is gonna thicken up, and it's gonna be spectacular. That looks good to me. Okay, so like I said, we're gonna leave this uncovered for about 10-15 minutes, and then we're gonna throw some tin foil over top of it. And would you look at that? I made up some white rice and we put it all over top of that white rice. We got some chicken chunks in there, got the sauce with the veg all stewed down. It is smelling amazing and tasting great. All right, so I'm gonna dig in right now in front of y'all. Don't mind me, but this is obviously a voiceover, so I'm gonna say it is awesome. Next time it'd be definitely better with some dark meat mixed in there, but with just the chicken breast, it was perfect. Nice, tender, and flavorful. It was super, it was, I wouldn't want to say crazy spicy, but it had a good kick to it. So if spice isn't your thing, maybe cut down on the Scotch bonnets a little bit. I did 2 and 2 with the marinade, 2 with the actual stew itself. So maybe cut that down to 1 or something. But other than that, this is banging. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next episode, everybody. Appreciate y'all.